welcome to Off the Shelf with Christine and Katie. October is National Cookbook Month. Who knew?
We didn't.
And while we all love making a good meal, there are so many other books out there that use food as a central point. Like, do we remember all that buzz last year with lessons in chemistry? Scientist turned chef.
Tales old as time.
Yes. So here are a few more books that revolve around food, from memoirs to fiction, where you're sure you're going to find something in there to whet your reading appetite.
We found so much.
Yes.
So, as always, settle in, grab a cup of your favorite beverage, and maybe a snack this time, and enjoy these recommendations. Read them now, or feel free to add them to your TBR for the future, and as always, let us know in the comments what you think of these picks, and if you have any titles to add. Trust me, we always want more. And, as always, if you wish to be notified of new videos, be sure to like and subscribe below. But, as always, let's get to those books.
All right, Katie, why don't you get us started with a chef I know you're fond of?
Yes, exactly. So, for those who don't know, this is My Life in France by Julia Child. And in this memoir, Julia Child chronicles her transformation to a renowned French cuisine expert, from her first visit to France through her studies at Le Cordon Bleu to her work on the cookbook Mastering the Art of French Cooking, for those who may not have heard of it, and finally her success as TV chef.
Next up we have Animal Vegetable Miracle by Barbara Kingsolver. And this is part memoir and part journalistic investigation, and the book explores Kingsolver's family's year-long experiment of detailing her family's attempt to eat only locally grown food for an entire year.
That must be such an endeavor.
I know.
And on to a next excellent chef. This is World Travel, an Irreverent Guide by Anthony Bourdain. And in this travel guide, it not only provides information on where to stay, and also what to eat, but also includes essays from Bourdain's friends, family, and colleagues that offer insights into the places featured there.
Nice. So next up we have Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, and it's a memoir that chronicles Gilbert's year-long worldwide journey after her divorce. And it's about her search for self-discovery and what she discovers along the way. Her travels take her to Italy, where she discovers the joy of Italian food, India, where she discovers spiritual discipline, and Indonesia, where she finally learns to love again.
Oh, such a sweet story.
And it's a good movie too.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I heard it's good. The next one we're going to recommend is called Notes from a Young Black Chef by Kwame Onwuachi. And this Top Chef contestant, Onwuachi, tells his journey from growing up in New York to the cutthroat world of fine dining. And as we've all seen in The Bear, we know this is true. So he highlights both the challenges and triumphs he faced as a young black chef.
Next memoir we have is Yes Chef, a memoir by Marcus Samuelsson. Samuelsson shares his story beginning as an Ethiopian orphan who was adopted and raised by a Swedish family.
Such culture.
I know. Then his rise in the culinary world was culminated in a Top Chef Master's win and the opening of his own restaurant, Red Rooster Harlem. He owns several now at this point.
Cool name. And the next one we're going to recommend is called A Season for That by Steve Hoffman. And this American food writer tells the story of moving his family to the French countryside, where everything he knows about food and winemaking is totally challenged by the locals, and he discovers the beauty of culture that is one with the land. I mean, if you move to France, you should know what you're going to
to this rural French countryside, and
of course it was going to be not what you expected.
I know. And staying in France, we have The French Ingredient by Jane Birch. American banker Birch is transferred to Paris for her job. Nice. She decides instead to open a cooking school there and learns how to navigate both the French cuisine as well as the culture.
I'm seeing trends about chefs being sent to France.
And staying.
I'm very jealous of that. Okay, and the next one we're going to recommend is called If You Can't Take the Heat by Geraldine de Ruyter. And in this memoir is told in essays that explore her experience with food as a child and discusses the challenges women can face in the food industry, among other topics.
I guess good for people with short stories.
Exactly.
Like short stories. Then we have
3.
Next up, we have Your Table is Ready by Michael Cecchi-Azzolina. This memoir offers a behind-the-scenes look at the New York City restaurant industry in the 1980s and 1990s. It chronicles his experiences as a maitre d' at some of the city's most famous restaurants, such as the Water Club, the River Cafe, and Le Cuckoo.
It's a cool name.
My French expert.
Someone had to be. And the next one is Savor, A Chef's Hunger for More by Fatima Ali. After taping of Top Chef Season 15 wrapped, fan favorite Ali was diagnosed with a rare form of terminal bone cancer. Oof.
Yeah.
She vowed to spend her final years traveling the world, eating delicious food and making family memories. Truthfully, that's what I would do. This is her memoir of her adventures. Oh. Sounds great, actually.
Now we have a little bit of nonfiction here in Frostbite, How Refrigeration Changed Our Food, Our Planet, and Ourselves by Nicola Twilley. And this book explores the impact of refrigeration on our food, environment, and health. It covers a wide range of topics from the history of refrigeration, how it changed our health and gut, as well as the impact that refrigeration equipment has had on the planet.
Changed the world.
Sounds interesting.
It does. And the next one we're going to go recommend is called The Good Eater, A Vegan Search for the Future of Food by Nina Gilbo. And this book looks at the history of the vegan movement and the ways vegans and their critics are reshaping the world's food system. It explores veganism as a larger system, from farming to restaurants and social justice. It also looks at what behavior trends behind what we choose what we eat. Sounds really interesting, actually.
It does. Then we have the Salve Sol Cookbook, Salvadorian Recipes and the Women Who Preserve Them by Carla T. Vasquez. And this cookbook celebrates the culture and community of El Salvador through recipes and stories from 25 Salvadorian women. It is a blend of recipes, food writing, and community-based journalism, and I believe the first major cookbook on El Salvadorian food.
Yeah. And the next one we're going to recommend is called At the Table, The Chef's Guide to Advocacy by Catherine Miller. And this is a guide for chefs and other leaders in the restaurant industry to become advocates for food issues. This book includes techniques for focusing their philanthropic efforts, pinpointing their audience, recruiting allies, and grabbing attention in a crowded media landscape.
Then we have Taste.
Our fave.
My Life Through Food by Stanley Tucci. This is his memoir of his life both in and out of the kitchen. It explores the intersection of food and life through recipes, anecdotes, and author reflections. Look for his newest book that's coming out late October 2024 called What I Ate in 1 Year. You can go to that.
Nice. Okay, and the next one, speaking of French things and authors that we already love, this is The Second Worst Restaurant in France by Alexander McCall Smith, and this is an amazing title. And this is fiction, by the way. Yes. Thanks to his cousin Chloe, he escapes to France, which is now my dream, and the village they are staying in boasts that it has the second worst restaurant in France. I guess you have to be known for something. Soon he finds his fortunes wrapped up with this eating establishment and the locals he befriends. I already know it's going to be a great book because he is already a great writer.
Yes. All right, next we have Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. And this is about two estranged siblings that must set aside their differences to deal with their mother's death as well as her hidden past. This journey will take them from the Caribbean to London to California, and it ends with their mom's famous black cake.
I always wonder what that title meant.
There it is. That's another fiction book too,
yeah,
by the way.
And the next one we're going to go recommend is called The Kitchen Front by Jennifer Ryan. And during World War II, 4 British women compete in a cooking contest where the winner will become the first female co-host of the BBC radio show called The Kitchen Front, which offers creative ways to use food rations. They each have very different reasons for entering the contest, and winning the competition could significantly change their lives.
Alrighty, next we have The Sicilian Inheritance by Joe Piazza. After Sarah's marriage and business fail, she inherits a plane ticket to Sicily, a deed to land, and a family secret. Of course. She explores her Italian roots and tries to solve a mystery surrounding her great-grandmother, which is still playing out in the present.
Alright, and this is a mystery book that we both read before and loved, The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell. And it's the 10th season of Bake Week, the hit cooking competition founded by celebrity chef Betsy Martin. But as the competition gets underway, things go awry. First, simple sabotage of ingredients, then someone is murdered, and everyone's a suspect. We had fun with this one.
Yes, we did. Now, okay, next up, we're going to go back to a memoir with Under the Tuscan Sun by Frances Mays. Its memoir details the trials that recently divorced Mays and her new significant other, Ed, went through in renovating their villa named Bramascol, which means longing for the sun, in rural Cortona, Tuscany. It is a story of love, food, and the experience of home renovation. So some of you may have seen the movie, which is excellent. This book deals more with her home renovation.
Yeah.
Than what you'll see in the movie.
Than the food and things, yeah. Well, speaking of other nice food and fun things, this is Chocolat by Joanne Harris. It's about a single mother who opens a chocolate shop across from the town church during Lent, which is always a great time to open a chocolate shop,
Yes.
in a small French village.
Mm-hmm.
The new shop causes a divide amongst the villagers as some support the local priest's stance on abstinence and others are intrigued in the new chocolate indulgences. I thought it was a really great movie. I had to include the book.
Next up, we have The 100-Foot Journey by Richard Moras.
Also a great movie.
And in this one, a family opens an Indian restaurant right across the street from Madame Mallory's French restaurant. And this starts a culinary war between the two restaurants and families. The story is told from the point of view of Hassan Haji, who, after the culinary war is resolved, is mentored by Madame Mallory and begins to experiment with both Indian and French techniques and eventually becomes a world-renowned chef. I thought this was a true story. It turns out it's a wonderful piece of fiction.
Sworn.
So anyway, we hope you enjoyed these picks and maybe found a few to add to your reading list. Let us know in the comments any other titles you can't wait for. And as always, until next time,
Happy reading.
happy reading.
Take care.